Well, Dimi, according to the United Nations, 80 million Africans are living with disabilities. Many are excluded from schools and employment opportunities, virtually guaranteeing they will live out of their lives very poor. Many people with disabilities are often discriminated against, oppressed, and marginalized, making it very, very difficult for them to participate in political and social activities. This brings us to our question of the week. What do you see as the government and the public's role in protecting and enforcing the rights of people living with disabilities in Africa to ensure that they are equal members of society? Well, I'm going to start by thanking everybody for using all our social media platforms to communicate to us. And we're going to begin with a comment from Azure Imoro Abdullahi from Ghana. He writes, "Disabled people must be treated with dignity and a sense of respect and belongingness. That way they can feel proud." And another comment comes from Emmanuel Mwaba from Zambia. "Governments should make deliberate policies to make an even playground for the disabled," he writes. "We need buildings that will accommodate and allow them to operate with ease. Let's judge people by their character and qualifications, not their disabilities." Well, Demi, that brings back in mind the famous line, "I have a dream" speech from Martin Luther King, where he uttered the powerful words that he dreamt that one day his 4 little children will be judged by the content of their characters and not the color of their skins. So Emmanuel Mwamba from Zambia, well said. Judge people by their character and qualifications and not their disabilities. In other words, let's respect each other no matter how different we are. Dimi?
Such interesting comments, Mariama. I want to come to you, Ms. Nacheyune, out there in Uganda. When you took on the task of advocating for your daughter, Anne-Marie, what were the biggest challenges that you faced in trying to educate people about dwarfism and also some of the rights that you're pushing in general for people with disabilities around Africa too?
First of all, dwarfism didn't have where they belong as in terms of whether they are average height or disabled. So I found a challenge of trying to institutionalize it, either in disability or average height population in terms of planning and government advocacy. So there was a lot of resistance from disability community, but after some time that one was resolved and they were accepted as a category, a special category in the disability. Mm-hmm. But secondly, it was like an emerging condition that people had not thought about. They didn't know nothing. They didn't know anything about. So it was starting from scratch and also convincing people that these are human beings. You know, they are all mislabels and misconceptions. But with the awareness campaigns that started in 2008, educating people about dwarfism and what causes it and the complication associated with them, so we are getting there.
Okay, and you know, thank you, Manzu. What do you want to see change when you hear people really kind of rallying behind the cause, and they really do seem to be pushing for some kind of a sea change in terms of attitudes? What would you say to somebody listening and say they see you in a crutch? What is the kind of reception you want to get?
Well, first of all, in my own perspective, I always want people to see me like as if I'm not disabled. And
well, now you're on a crutch. It's obviously clear.
Yeah.
So sometimes somebody might just think you need help. Like, hey, can I help you sit down? So you're saying you don't want any of that. You don't think that's necessary.
Yeah, when it's not necessary, it's not necessary. When it's necessary, it's okay.
They should ask,
yeah.
Can I help you?
Like in the airport, most of the time, they will come with wheelchairs or those trolleys. Sometimes, no, I can help myself.
But the intentions sometimes are good.
Yeah. Of course, yes.
Well, Mariama, it's an interesting topic, really. You have more feedback for us?